Alright, so we're down a mic, unfortunately. Everybody, are you not recording?
Yeah, I am. I'm just...
Alright, well, Frank's setting that up. This is a completely inappropriate podcast, everybody. I'm Tony, along with Mr.
Frank.
And our guest today is...
Brit.
Kate. Come up on the mic. Oh, get her some cushions for behind her so she can come
They're right there.
Give her another one, you
Here's the next one.
Do you not understand the term chivalry? Do you not know what being a gentleman is in life?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
She said.
Shut the fuck up, Frank. And
Okay.
come kiss me over here.
No, you said just shut the fuck up.
Come into the mic with me, bitch. Alright, so this is the Completely Inappropriate Podcast. You can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com, at CI Podcast on Instagram, at Completely Inap on Twitter. You can find us on TikTok now. We just made an account. Hopefully we start fucking around with that. Because
That one actually is completely inappropriate.
that's gonna hopefully be... Oh, you actually just have like completely inappropriate?
Yeah.
I like having completely inappropriate podcast at the end.
Oh.
Podcast. You gotta have the CIP.
Well, I figured we'd get more search results.
Okay, you realize you're not talking into the microphone. It's
Because you
over here.
have the
need
mic
to
all to
Right,
yourself.
well, because I was doing the intro and then you
Okay.
interrupted me with your bullshit. Remember, we're a mic down. Remember.
Okay.
Remember?
Yes.
Do you remember?
No.
Useless. So, that's where you can find us. Remember, leave a 5-star review anywhere you're listening to us. Don't try the other stars. They don't work. Trust us. It's a proven fact. We don't lie to our people. So, Brittany,
Yes.
you just woke up, huh?
I did.
What time did you get out of work?
6 a.m. 6:30.
And it's now 12:30. I know you've been awake for at least an hour and a half before you got here. So would you have like 4.5 hours of sleep?
Yeah, fairly.
Not even like three and a half.
Probably, because I showered and all that when I got home, so.
4 tops. Yeah, that's terrible. When do you go back in?
I am off until Tuesday. I go back in at 6.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's dope.
I get to enjoy this time.
Alright, let me adjust your levels real quick. Ah! Somebody say something. Dead air is not good for the podcast.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I was trying to adjust the levels, but I'm not getting any help from anybody on here, so fuck you two. Britt, we have you on because the nature of your work, let everybody know what you do.
I am a emergency dispatcher for a local police department.
Okay, but you're not on your headset, so you gotta use your microphone voice.
Big girl
Yeah,
voice.
so talk
I am.
a little bit more, somewhere in the middle would be good. Just drink a little more Dr. Pepper, get a little caffeine in you.
Okay,
Yeah,
you got it.
Let's
You
hear
got
you.
it.
Let's hear you. So I'll set it up. So you work for dispatch for the police? I never asked a lot of questions because I knew I wanted to have you on the podcast.
Yes, for the local police department. Wessico.
You don't gotta tell people where. People don't
That doesn't
care.
matter.
One of these brown towns here in South Texas. So you've been doing this for how long now?
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Is that with the same company? Weren't you with the different?
I was with another smaller agency.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So in a year, I imagine you've had some time to gather some pretty interesting calls.
I'd say so. Probably the most interesting have been recent.
Yeah, such as what's the most interested?
I'm pretty sure
jump
quarantine really fucked with people's heads.
Yeah, so people were just more paranoid, I guess, than
like they just walk around parking lots with a machete or leave their car in the middle of frontage with a hammer.
Good.
So.
Yeah,
Do
that
you have
one.
questions about that?
So then, no, for those listening that aren't from down here, there was actually a video that went viral on YouTube. Not viral, but like everyone who's down here from the RGV fucking shared it, that there was somebody's drunken uncle wielding a machete at was it Chili's parking lot?
Applebee's. In the back of Applebee's. Yeah.
Why is Applebee's still a thing? Is my question. Does anything good ever happen at an Applebee's?
Well, the thing is, Applebee's was closed, so there wasn't even anything, like, you can't even blame drunkenness, you can't blame anything, the guy was just...
Yeah, that apparently it was road rage, like the guy cut him off, so he followed him into the fucking parking lot and got out and pulled out his fucking machete. He was waving it around like, you motherfucker.
That's not that. I feel like that's not that weird. I feel like there's weirder stuff. I know that's kind of weird, yes, but we're also a valley filled with Mexicans. Like, everybody and their uncle has a machete somewhere in the house.
True.
I don't have a machete. I have a 11-inch...
Can you be a little louder, please?
Well, we forgot to ask to silence.
So sorry, it was an alarm.
It's okay. We do it like every other episode. All right, so that was something recent. What in the last year though? That you're told. What is the craziest call you've gotten?
there was, in the smaller agency I worked, it's probably the grossest, like, nasty. We get a call.
We like it nasty.
That this guy is looking at this lady from, like, she could see him from her window and he's outside. And I'm like, okay, well, what's he doing? She goes, he's jacking off.
Oh, just peeping Tom.
And I'm like, okay. So when our officers, that's not even the word part. Like,
right, I'm waiting
that's
for
standard.
it.
When our officers get there, he goes harder when he sees them. Like, he's literally jacking off harder. And
He's getting off on getting caught.
What the heck is going on? And it's all on their body cams. So if that doesn't make it weird enough that I have to hear it, to see it is just gross.
So you saw and heard
I
this?
saw everything.
I didn't realize that it was live streaming back to you.
It doesn't, but they come and show us because they want us to live what they had to live
How
through.
long do they hold on to those videos? I guess if there's an arrest, they hold on to it.
Yeah,
till court date,
they're
right?
forever.
But
They get saved to a system.
even if it's a basic kind of
Even if it's something,
pull.
yeah.
Interesting. So they'll catch you. Don't throw shit out your window, people. Somebody will review that fucking footage.
Very true.
So what about especially mentioning the COVID calls? What's the most? I know I'm kind of jumping through these. Are you mad at me for going out of order?
No. Where the one you want to fucking ask?
Oh, well, what is the most frivolous call you've gotten? Because he didn't know how to ask that in a regular sentence. We
Oh, I did. I was just like, that falls under this fucking question and that question.
I like details. So what's the, like where somebody calls and says my cat's stuck in a tree? Like, we all know that only happens in movies where you can actually call for that, right? Like, firemen. Will a fireman actually show up and pull your cat out of a tree?
You know, I'm gonna be very honest. It just depends on the night. Like, if it's busy, no. Just try to call the cat.
But it's absolutely nothing.
But
else
if
is
it's
going on.
completely, and I'm knocking on this, dead, because we don't use those kinds of words. Yeah, we'll send them out. They'll do a courtesy thing and be like, "Oh, come here, kitty." Look at the cat. Literally, I can hear them saying, "Kitty's retrieved."
That's so funny. So that's actually happened. So you've had that call?
Yeah.
That is too fucking funny. I honestly didn't expect that to be a real story. Man, fuck you guys. I'm
He's
just
like, "What the
entertained.
fuck do I care about a cat in a tree?" He's not the guy that's gonna call for the cat in the tree.
No, there's too many of them here as it is. I want to shoot the ones we have on our roof every morning. They're running around chasing the squirrels. Anyway, so Frank, I'll let you take over the microphone because I'm tired of leaning over.
Okay. So, we got 2 questions following those. Actually, that was a follow-up to these 2 questions. But, what is the craziest call you've had, and what is the creepiest call you've had? We were kind of into this whole fucking jumping parallel universes and shit in the previous episode. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like... okay. I'm just
No,
gonna hear
good.
what's your craziest...
What you think?
Yeah, okay. Why do you think of the craziest call? We were talking about like Rick and Morty episodes, how you can go into a parallel universe and see basically anything. There's a place where you can just shoot each other and you're unharmed. You can heal yourself, right? With Jerry, the Jerry episode.
Yeah.
Jerry episode, everybody! Yeah, another Jerry episode. We're a fan of Pickle Rick and Joe Rogan here. Take a shot.
Yeah.
And Tricky. Sorry, I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm just kind of ranting until you come up with. Did you figure it out?
I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, well, I had nothing to say.
I
tried
didn't
to
know
let
you were real busy with the beef jerky.
I tried to let go of my conversation because I realized I'm about to take a bite of this so I could listen to your story, but then everybody wanted me to keep going. I was like, I had
I
nothing.
wasn't sure if she was ready or not.
Well, I would say that the scariest or the most intense one, and it's gonna sound dumb because it involves a kid, but.
Yeah, because kids just make everything dumb.
Well, because we have a lot of kids that call 911. Like, that's like, you know, they have a phone, they think it's funny, they call 911.
Mm-hmm.
But one day this kid calls, and he's like, I have an AK-47, I have an AK-47. And I'm like, that's great, let me talk to your dad. And he's
How
like,
old did he sound?
probably maybe 8, 7.
Oh, wow.
No, he sounded really young.
I was expecting like 13, 14.
No.
so
He
got
sounded really young, and I was like, okay, well, where's your dad? And he's like, fuck you, bitch, and hangs up. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Next call I get from a different number, but the address is pinging to the same address. This little kid says, my friend is dead in the room.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, what do you mean your friend is dead in the room? How old are you? And I'm like, this is not cool. And so, like, I'm having my officers already go out, and there really was a kid with an AK-47. Nobody was dead.
Shit.
Nobody was dead,
Oh,
which
thank
was
God.
good. But the kid actually had an AK-47.
Where the hell did he get that?
No parents were in the house. It was 2 kids. The second one was probably maybe 9, 10.
Shit, so there was another kid that potentially could have been,
But
you know.
by themselves.
Yeah, had it gone on any longer, who knows if they actually would have done it just
And
for
that
the
one
jobs.
probably, to this day, haunts me, because if normally calls like that,
That's so fucked.
you don't know to take them seriously or not. The kids do it, and it's crazy because they do it all the time. And for
How
whatever
often
reason,
do you get calls from kids?
every day. At least,
No.
especially at night, at least 10 to 15 calls.
All around the same age, like young,
Yeah, they're
very,
really
very
young.
young.
I mean, you'll even get toddlers that are playing with the parent's phone that accidentally call, and they're like, "Mama, Dada," and I'm like, "Not your mama, not your Dada."
Ooh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was probably.
And on calls like that, would you have to send an officer out to make sure, like, if all you hear is the kid on the phone, do you send somebody anyway to check on the kid?
I'll stay on the phone probably for about a minute and a half. If I don't hear anything suspicious or out of the ordinary, no. But if they continually call, then we send them out. Because the thing is, disconnected phones, you can still dial 911.
Right.
So a lot of parents are like, "Oh, here, play with this old phone."
Right.
And the call still goes through. So other calls, when it's an actual number, I'll just call back and tell the parent. The parent's like, "Gee, God," like tell the kid off.
That's crazy.
But the 911 call, when it's a disconnected number, yeah, I try to ping it as best as I can. We get officers in the area if it sounds out of the ordinary.
Now, how do 911 calls work? I'm curious, because I know sometimes you'll do a 911 call and it'll send you to a dispatch unit in like the wrong city or something.
It kind of goes off the towers, but in our system we have a certain button that after like 20 seconds of the call we can click it, and so it's trying to get a clear pinging point of where you're at.
Oh, okay.
So the longer we have you on the phone, the easier it is to locate you, because we have people that'll call and be like, "Well, I don't know my address."
Oh,
How
yeah,
long have you lived there?
I saw a meme of a dispatcher looking like disgruntled at his computer, like, so the perpetrator standing right in front of you, but you can't tell me what he looks like.
Pretty much, I mean, and it's true.
There are people that just, they spaz and they don't know how to explain
it's
it.
extremely, like we had a call last
He's
night.
a man, he's standing
This
there,
morning.
he's got 2 legs, he's wearing shoes, like giving all the basic information that doesn't apply. Like,
Yeah, like it's like that you're not helping. Like, how are we gonna help you if you're not helping us? So like this morning we had one about a car potentially on fire. We're like, "Okay, well, what's the address?" "Well, I don't know." "Well, what do
They
you
were
mean you
just
don't know? Like,
driving
are you
by.
at home? Are you passing by?" "No, I'm at my apartment." "What's your address to your
Oh
apartment?"
my god.
"I don't know."
Was it a kid again?
No, it was a older female. She had to been. She sounded like 40s, 50s, and I'm like, "Ma'am, how do you not know where you live? How long have you lived there?" "I don't know. It's here, these apartments." I'm like, not helping.
Yeah. So basically, you just have to keep them calm, stay calm yourself. I guess
Yeah.
that's the harder part, is
It's-
keeping yourself calm.
And it's crazy because when you think about it and you look up dispatchers, you think like really bad scenarios, and so you have to stay calm for those scenarios, but it's really staying calm for really stupid, idiotic people.
I think that was one of our questions too. Like, have you had an issue where somebody calls just yelling "que la chingada" at you? You know,
Yeah, that's
just,
like every day.
so the worst of the worst. Like, how do they talk to you?
Last night a guy told me I can go fuck myself, I was a fucking bitch,
Based on what?
based on the fact that he wanted to report officers from another city that quote unquote were corrupt because they were trying to arrest him for freedom of speech. However, I'm the dispatcher. I know who they speak to, when they speak to them, and for the reasons. It was not for freedom of speech. It's because he was going 80 miles per hour in a 30-mile per
So
hour
you had the record there, but they arrested him probably because he
They
was cussing
didn't
at them.
arrest him. They even gave him a warning. They didn't even give him
Oh,
a
wow.
ticket because it's a super small agency that we also work with.
When
And-
people get a hair up their ass,
Yeah,
it's
and he's
just
like,
for
"I'm gonna
awareness.
sue you," and I said, "Okay, congratulations, have fun." And I hung up. Like, to
There's
an
only so
extent,
much you can
yeah, to an extent, I'm respectful and I'll take it. But when you're continuously calling, wasting my time, wasting our 911 line, I'm not gonna be nice about it.
At what point does that become a felony charge or something? Like, is there a situation where someone's calling, tying up your lines? Can you arrest them for that?
If they do it on the 911 line, it's after 3 consecutive calls. Then it becomes abuse of 911.
Wow.
On a
I know,
landline,
okay, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
And a landline?
on a landline, it basically comes down to if one of us wants to make a report because they're harassing us.
Oh, it might, if it's a more direct
Yeah.
harassment. Interesting. So what kind of repercussions come from that for those people? Are they
They can get cited or up to 180 days in jail.
Damn! Quit fucking with the po-po, yo. They'll fuck you up. That's so stupid.
And that goes for the parents if the kids continuously call 911 too.
Yeah, you
Parents
should
need to
fucking
take it.
because at some point they're gonna be contacted before that third call. So if it continues to happen, yeah, that's just bad parenting.
Yeah.
101. 911. Frank, what other questions do we got? Anything else written down there that I've neglected?
Okay, accents. Anyone with the worst accent?
I would say on the phone the hardest ones to understand are like, and I'm assuming they're Philippines. They might even be Chinese. But
Frank, what was your theory? Didn't you say that there was a lot of a certain?
Oh yeah, there's
Persuasion?
a lot of Indian people over in
okay, yeah, I guess yeah,
Edinburgh.
it could be Indian too. Like you just
You'd be surprised. You really would be surprised the amount of Indian people that are in the valley now, especially now. I don't know if they're coming up through Mexico or how they end up here.
I know we
in
have
South Texas,
a good handful in the city, and then the other one is I don't know if they're like Filipino or Chinese, but them too, and they're like I don't even know if I can do it, but
at South Padre or in Boca Chica, I think. No, I'm sorry, it's not even there. Anyway, off the island somewhere, not too far away, there's actually a church that's like Philippine speaking.
oh really?
Jehovah's Witness church or something like that. Like, but it's specifically for the Filipino community. Like, it's that large that they had their own specific church in that area for their language. Very interesting. So I'd like to look more into that.
Wow.
Sorry, I heard my son in the background over there. Easily distracted.
But yeah, those are probably, and it could be even Indian to be honest with you. The accents, it's from where I was at a smaller agency to this agency, my traffic is way different. Like I have a lot of more calls over there. I would literally, and I've told Tony, I would like just sit there and watch like Netflix or Hulu all night. And here, I'm lucky if I can get through one episode in 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
So-
okay. Is this frowned on? Are you gonna get in trouble for saying that?
No, my boss knows. My boss knows. She's cool.
Well, you already said what city you work for. I hope you're
not
gonna get in
I'm
trouble.
not worried. I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to.
All right, just checking. Looking out for you. Oh, we haven't even mentioned your family. You're my sister, my god sister, but
Yeah,
sister.
yeah.
You're just as much a sister as any other sister that's been a sister of a sister.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but there, a little factoid for you guys. What's next, Frank?
Okay,
Do you like cats? You really wrote that down.
No, I don't. And they're all gonna hate me in this house because I really don't like
No, that's
cats.
fine. I don't like dogs. It's not that I don't like dog people. It's your dogs I don't like.
No, there's only one cat I've ever liked, and it was...
Tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiger was the cat, and
Yeah,
it
big
took
one.
years to get used to that cat.
He was a big orange fluff ball. He was the Frank of cats.
Rest in peace, Tiger.
You're
Rest
just
in
a-
peace.
Aw, R.I.P. homeboy. Anyway, what else we got?
Okay, so anyone ever hit on you during a call?
Good
That's a yes. That's a yes.
Tell us about it. You got a cute little boy. I can see it. I can see it though. I can tell. Dude, you're as maroon as
Can we
your
take a
shirt.
break here?
Okay, well, we'll be back after this short interlude. And we're back with the Completely Inappropriate Podcast. I am your host, Tony, along with Mr.
Frank.
And today we have our guest.
Brittany.
Hi, Brittany. So we're
Hi.
back after that short interlude. Did you catch your breath now?
Yes, I did.
Okay, now what the hell were we talking about?
Anyone ever hit on you?
So who's this guy? How many of them?
Was it
You.
Were they all guys?
Yeah. Well, you know, only out of probably. Well, you know what? It's all the time, so I don't know how many are really guys and how many aren't. Only the ones I've met, and
so
I've met 3. So.
You've met them? You actually...
Sure.
You're a terrible... You're using... You're
No.
using taxpayer dollars as an OkCupid app?
No, I'm just doing my job.
Okay, Cupid, I'm not looking for love. I'm on Tinder, bitch.
Bumble.
Oh, Bumble. I don't know
No,
what the
yeah.
hell they're
So there's a couple. I mean, because over the phone, anybody can sound a certain way and look a certain way in person. But I've had fun with about 3.
That's terrible. I've had fun.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
whatever.
So that's best case scenario. When has it gotten creepy?
It wouldn't be so much with somebody over the phone. In the small agency, I had interaction with the inmates they would bring in, like the people they would arrest. So in that one, that's a little different because...
You ever hook up with the inmates?
No.
Did you want to? Tell me there wasn't
There
one.
was maybe one.
Your ass always a bad one.
They were only there for PI, so it was okay. But we weren't there for murder or anything, so we're good. But no, there was one that... So I'm not supposed to go and give them water or make them a sandwich or anything.
That's fucked.
The officers.
Oh, they're...
Yeah, no, I just can't do it.
Job allocation.
But when you're in a small agency and I know my officers are extremely busy, I'm going to help whoever I can. And so if the guy's crying for water, I'm going to go take him water. But I do my best to stay not or seen. Well, he did his best to make sure he could see through the little square hole where I give him the water and he could see me. And so left when he was released, came back and was like, hey, you're the girl that was here when I was arrested. And I was like, no, I was not, but I was. And then he like stalked me for like a week and a half and
what?
we ended that really quickly.
How did he stalk you?
He was there all the time.
There at your job?
Yeah, he would just
but
show up.
He didn't follow you home or anything?
I don't know.
Not that you're
'cause
aware
I never
of.
paid, yeah, not that I'm aware of. I didn't normally pay attention
How long did it take you to notice that he was doing that?
by the second day.
Oh,
Because
could
he would go and just sit there. Like,
Oh, he
he'd be
was-
like,
so he
hey,
wasn't-
so like, what time are you off? You want to go get something to eat? And I was like, no.
Aw, he was just persistent.
He also looked like a creepy old skinny
Oh, so this has nothing to... So if
smoking old man. Like,
So if you had Channing Tatum stalking you, you'd have said yes.
hell yeah. Or
You-
Demi Lovato. I'm
Or Demi Lovato. You're our second family member bisexual on the podcast, by the way. You can talk to my wife about who the other one was. You should listen to the podcast. You know?
I do.
Lies. So
It's an
you've
amazing podcast.
So you've listened to the podcast.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had maybe twice.
I see. Everyone's full of shit. Constant shitter.
But you know what? I support you 100% and I put it out there.
Well, you're here. If you can get a normal schedule going at some point, maybe we'll have you on as a guest host every once in a while. This has been good. I'm really enjoying this. We're about two-thirds of the way. What else do we got here, Frank?
Any inter-office relation?
Yeah, we already know you want to hook up with the inmates. You hook up with the people that you get calls from on the phone.
This is really completely inappropriate.
Okay. So spill the beans. How many times have you cracked a cop?
That camera get my reaction.
Yeah, Ken was watching you. Is Frank there? Hi, Frank. It's always just your balls in the frame.
Oh, see, look.
I think it's strategic. I think he does it on purpose.
None actually.
No, you're good at keeping it out of the workplace, or you just can't.
I mean, I've messaged, but or like chit chat.
Little
yes,
flirtation.
But anything more than that, I've learned that in other jobs. So to do it in this kind of a job, it's just not worth it.
Just don't dip your pen
Yeah.
in company ink.
It's just really not worth it. Cause then
But
they
the water
do,
boy coming in that fills up the igloo in the corner.
Well, it's only because I can have officers be assholes and do traffic stops the entire shift. And let me tell you, traffic stops are not fun. It's not fun for the people getting pulled over. It's not fun for the people having to run all their shit. So it's that, or if the officer pisses me off, then I'm the one that gets to send him to bullshit calls, and that's also not fair,
that's so
technically.
funny.
And I have done it.
Because it's supposed to be on a rotational basis
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah, everybody has
fair.
like their sector, like their certain area of the city of where they're supposed to be, and I can just be a bitch and send you wherever I want to send you. I can send you to.
You don't fuck with the people holding the map.
Yeah, don't.
You don't.
That's a known
navigator.
fact in law enforcement. Don't fuck with your dispatchers.
You say that with way too much power in your eyes, though. That is a
Because
power-hungry attitude. I
I've
see.
used it plenty of times. I've used it. I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll be listening too.
Are you gonna let it,
Oh hell yeah! I'm gonna tell them.
You're gonna tell them you're just in a podcast? That's awesome. Oh well, hi guys and gals and non-binary pals if you're so inclined to feel that way. We love you. Please don't arrest us. Again.
I already have a record.
You have a record. I've got a mild record, but it's a record. Not nearly as intense as you. What else we got?
So, How much fuckery happens over the radio?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. That was yeah.
I would say in smaller agencies way more because they're not.
I got that fly. Wow. Sorry.
They're not as monitored as much, or they're not monitored as much. I don't know what the hell I just said. They're not monitored as much. So when I was in the smaller agency, we would just talk stupid shit over the radio. It would be like, "Hey, handsome," or "Hey, sexy."
That's where the flirting.
I mean, sometimes, but it was even like the guys telling the guys like just messing around or like.
Oh, they had Tony and Franks working there.
Basically, yeah, I've heard you guys. So yeah, basically that's what it was.
We're all assholes. We had this conversation with my dad last night when we were all barbecuing, and dude, we're all a bunch of assholes. Like, you can't blame people for acting a certain way because you don't know what they went through. They could just be being an asshole because they had some asshole shit happen to them.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know. Like, we all have the potential to be assholes. We all gotta blow off steam. We all do that Trump room, locker room talk.
Yeah, definitely. And so with this other agency that's a little bigger, or it is bigger, it's not as much. I think the most we'll do is be like, "Thanks, buddy. Tenfold, buddy. Got you back."
Well, it's a bigger
not
agency.
As,
So I'm assuming HR has a little bit
we
more
keep it a little more clean than over when it was a smaller one. We'd be like, whatever the hell, we just didn't give a shit.
Right on.
They would literally be like, "Right there, get the fucker. He's right there. Get the motherfucker." And it's like, guys, we're on the radio.
And those are recorded too.
They
right?
are
The
recorded.
calls?
They are recorded. So if they get audited, the state has the right to hear them.
Have you ever had an issue where a call was leaked out to the public or anything?
No, but I recently found out that when you're a dispatcher when you have a CAD system, which is usually at the bigger agencies like where I'm at, if there's people that volunteer, like funeral homes, nursing homes, anything like that, that they're a part of the law enforcement or fire agency, when you dispatch a call, they can see everything. It doesn't matter if they're working or not. So like I never knew this until recently, but my name comes out when it gets sent out to these people, and I'm like, wait, why does everybody know my name? The only reason I found out is because one of your uncles was with somebody.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, there's a Brittany Jones stuck in an elevator."
What?
Yeah.
Wait, were you stuck in an
I
elevator?
wasn't stuck in the elevator. I made the call about somebody being stuck in an elevator.
What?
In Wasaco at Nap, and your uncle was like, "I know a Brittany Jones. Hold on."
Why is she stuck in an
And he
elevator?
calls your dad, and he's like, "Brittany's stuck in an elevator?" And he's like, "What? No, I just texted her. She's fine." And so they're asking me, and I'm like, "No, I dispatched. How do you all know about anything about an elevator?"
So it doesn't link the person that you're calling about. It just links the dispatcher
The
to
information that we put into the system, which even then I'm like, I don't want other people knowing my name and what I'm doing.
Well, if you happen to be one of these Nurse Jones, whatever, bad reference, a pill popping addict that's just fucking not paying attention to the calls they're getting, and sends the people out to the wrong destination or something. I guess they would need to know who did that.
Pretty much, yeah, but it's still just weird. Like,
I'm sure they gave you a paper that you had to sign that told them that told you that all this information was going to get sent out, though.
I don't recall.
Yeah,
I really don't.
How many things do we actually read when we sign?
It was just weird because I was like, wait, what?
Weird.
Yeah.
So what's next?
So then,
Moving on.
if you had a call about a baby dying
Oh yes.
and a call about a police shootout, which one do you answer first?
Yeah. Is it the civilian problem, or is it the police problem that takes priority? Or in this situation, or is it your bias? Is it what you choose is more important?
Man, y'all really thought good on these questions.
Not really.
I did.
That one is really.
It's a hard question. It's the last one, by the way.
It's supposed to be hard.
It's the last in the series.
Okay,
And it was one that it lets us get to know you a little bit more. But it's a curious question. It's a duality question. What matters more in the moment? Is it the possibility of a mass shootout with the police, or a mass shooter in general, because it's a basic call out, or a woman saying, hey, my baby stopped breathing, we need help right away. Like, both situations are immediate and need immediate attention. Which one do you prioritize? 20 seconds one way or the other might sway an entire And
I've had experiences where, unfortunately, time has been an issue.
Can you, well, before you answer that, how did you handle a time-sensitive issue?
It was actually very recent, about a female on an ATV out in the Wesco area. The call came through. What the male said was there's a female on an ATV by the river. He didn't say in the, or not river, but canal, lake, whatever you want to call it. But he didn't say she was actually drowning in there. So the cities all have certain maps, and to an extent, it's the city, and then it goes into county. It could be DPS for traffic. It just depends. This situation, that area was county, so I just transferred the call because all he said was there's a female on an ATV by the lake or river, whatever.
On the canal.
Canal.
Which is federal property, right? Or state property?
Yeah, so there shouldn't be ATVs out there, period. But
No,
I
of course
can't
not.
send my officers to go tell her to get off of it because it's not our jurisdiction.
It's state jurisdiction,
So-
so you'd need a sheriff or something
Yeah,
like
so we
that.
passed it out of county.
Even border
15 minutes later, county calls me back and says, hey, we need EMS. There's a female that was drowned, or that drowned in the canal,
Ugh.
and we need EMS. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what's the area? And I was like, I just got a call from there. I sent it over to you. He's like, yeah, he was trying to tell you that she was drowning. I said, no, he never said that. And that's where the recordings come in handy.
Yeah.
Because if there was to be a law issue
Yeah.
there, it's clear as day that he said
That the
she's
communication
by
was poor on
the
their
canal.
end,
Yes.
not on your understanding.
And I mean, and he was just a passerby, so it's not his fault either. But
It was a rushed phone call.
yes, it was just in the moment.
It shows
and,
that communicate. Word choice matters, man. Word choice matters.
that one would be it, because I'm talking to county trying to get all the information when all this time has passed that EMS should have been rolled out.
So what?
A good 10 minutes before.
Please forgive this question, but it does beg the question: what level of guilt do you feel carrying that information around? Do you feel that does it weigh heavy on you? Or
I
is
think with that one, there's two of them, and that, well, actually three now. Those do. And not as heavy as at the beginning, but they do. This one's still kind of like fresh, so it's slowly going away, but you're never gonna forget.
like with the boy with the AK-47, nothing actually happened.
Yeah, no,
It's
but
just a
that, like, I
terrifying
can literally
situation.
hear his voice all the time, because you don't,
Ouch.
I mean, just to hear a kid say
I mean,
that.
I'm picturing my nephew Lucas.
Yeah.
The little 8, 9, 10-year-old kids just playing around with their daddy's gun, just making light of it, not understanding what they're doing, thinking it's a joke.
Yeah, so I mean, some of them hit a little hard. Like, I've had calls, and you know that, I know Frank doesn't know this, but my mom passed away from cancer. So those calls are always the hardest, because I can hear the people screaming, my daddy has cancer. And at that point, the way they're
And they
screaming,
stop breathing.
I know,
it's
like,
those calls.
yeah, I know what it is. And so I have to man up and, like, be like, I understand, take a deep breath, I try to calm them through. And as soon as I hang up, it's like remembering the night with my mom all over again, because I was that screaming person.
Are you able to take strength from it, and by realizing that it's a situation that does occur, unfortunately, a lot more often than
I
the world
didn't-
would appreciate? But
I didn't realize it prior with the smaller agency, but in this one I have.
do you feel it's helping you at all?
Yeah, it has.
Some
It
sort of
ha- I mean-
catharsis anyway, where it helps you just it's nothing you ever need to feel better about. That's not what I'm asking, but just help you. Does it help you breathe through it? Having
It
these
does.
experiences?
In the moment, my adrenaline kicks in,
Mhm.
and so I know what I have to say because I've been there, and I know what the other person's going to want to hear. Nobody wants to hear, it's going to be okay, because you don't know. I'm not going to lie to you on the phone and tell you it's going to be
Well,
okay.
that's the blessing of a good dispatcher, somebody that, because it's in the end you are a relay of communication, and if you can't put yourself in another person's shoes and communicate clearly and concisely and with understanding, but with the facts of the situation, the step-by-step instructions that need to be followed for the next 30-40 seconds while you have them on the line.
Yeah.
Well, good on you, Brit.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
amazing. But to answer the final
Yes,
question.
the main question, technically, or the way it should be, the way it's supposed to be, and it normally is my officers come first. My officers do come first. It would be a difficult decision. However, I would do what I need to in that moment, in the first 2 seconds, to get what I need from my officers, keep listening to them, and just dispatch EMS in hopes that being able to balance the both of them, I can save both. It's possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It just depends on the severity of how badly the baby is dying or how badly the shooting is. we recently just had shots fired, and it could have been a lot worse, and it was a lot more calmer, but we still handle it as if it's a major shooting. So, you know, it just depends. The other good thing about it is that bigger agencies have more than one dispatcher. So it helps when you have the backup and the assistance, where smaller agencies, it's just one.
So now, where you were, it was just you
It
and
was
the
just
smaller
me,
one.
yeah.
And in this new one, is it
And
just
this new one, it's
2?
2. It should be 3. We're hiring. Everybody wants to go there.
Well, I mean, go ahead and let people know. This reaches more local people than anyone else.
It really, so it is for the city of Wesco. It's the Wesco PD. We are hiring. We have an extreme amount of positions. Starting pay is $16.50. You have amazing benefits, and it goes up after that.
The hours suck, but the money's great.
The
and
hours
benefits
won't
are there.
always suck. Right now, we're doing about 12-hour shifts. Some of us have 2 days off. Some of us only have 1.
How often
But
do they drug test? That's something our listeners need to know.
that is super random. So you have to do your best to
Principal
behave.
Yeah, you just.
But you know, it's one of the highest paying
Fields.
fields, right? Well, yeah, and we're the highest paying, one of the highest paying cities.
I might have to look into it in another year or 2 once
I
I'm
mean,
tired
it's
of working
good.
on my feet.
At the end of the day, you're saving lives.
Do they hire felons?
Well, you know, probably not. Just depends how
you
bad, maybe.
Depends on whose dick you could suck.
Maybe.
It just matters. Who you
Didn't
know.
say that. For the record, Wesco did not say that.
Nor do that. She got it
I
off
neither
first.
agree nor disagree to these comments.
Oh, whoa!
No, really, no, nothing,
Damn.
nothing.
Whew, we might have to bleep some of this out. But hey, Brit, I really loved having you on. This is one of our shorter episodes. I've got a lot more questions about. I mean, we both have a history with certain things in our past that we could get into in a whole other subject. Frank, was there any last? Well, there was one more subject I think we could bring up. Well, see, we have this one thing we really like to do on this podcast, where we like to fuck with this guy that we know of named Rob. We call him Rob the Marine. He's a real good friend of ours, and I made it a point to say that I wanted nothing to do with it other than, hey, here's the phone number. But now I have you on record, and I would like to know, how did that little messaging back and forth go? You said Rob finally hit you up. He hit you up the other day. What happened there?
We texted for a bit. Unfortunately, I was literally walking into work. But we texted a bit.
Oh yeah? Is there any potential there for another message or a booty call here and there? No.
You know, I'm just. Next question, please.
Oh come on! I told him you needed dick and he needed a distraction.
You know,
Are
I
you
just
single?
got a day off. I am single, but I just got a day off.
Well, there
And
you go,
I'm
Rob.
not here. I'm not with Rob, so.
Rob, now's the time to call. Well, you just woke up, to be fair. He can be here in the next 45 minutes. We'll rent out Frank's car, I guess. Oh,
Wow.
good.
I'm that. Wow. Thanks,
No.
brother.
Okay, I won't charge
Screw in
you.
the car.
We won't charge you that. Oh, my son's home. Gosh, relax.
I have my own place. Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way. Congratulations. Anyway, that was just a little family drama there at the end for everybody. Just to let you guys, to remind you guys, you can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com, at CI Podcast on Instagram, at Completely Inap on Twitter with 1P, at BitChute, YouTube, TikTok, search Completely Inappropriate or Completely Inappropriate Podcast. You should be able to find us. Brit, how was this for you? Did it scary?
fun.
Did it scary at the end there?
Yeah, you know, it got a little difficult, but it was still fun. It was a good time.
Well, hope we haven't scared you off too bad. Hope we can do it again.
Sounds good.
We talk a lot as it is, but nothing wrong with recording it for posterity's sake once in a while. Frank, any last words? Anything you want to say, not to the people, but to Brittany before we talk to the people?
I can't think of anything now.
No? You're done? Alright, so what do we tell the people, Frank?
Be excellent to each other.
And find you're happy. Any wise words, Britt?
Be
Didn't
positive.
think so.
Be positive.
Oh, be positive. Yeah, you stuck through it with this podcast, so I guess we could take her word for it. Love you guys. It was a good one. Take it easy. Bye. Bye. Say bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank.